and welcome back to another episode of What We're Talking About on Wednesday. This is the first time I'm recording a video since I moved, since COVID, since about March. It's now May 30th, on a Saturday, actually. When you see this video, I will post it on a Wednesday. So what happens between now and then, if I don't speak on it, it's because, well, it's in the future for me. I'm coming to talk about, the title of this video is obvious. What's been going on in the world recently with COVID-19 and people being in home and people being indoors and kind of feeling isolated and feeling restricted is sort of similar to how Black people feel when it comes to their treatment by, I would say, police officers for now. We'll speak on police officers. It is 2020, and I am 32 years old this year, and I have seen or read about or seen videos of a number of Black men and women being killed by police officers because they can. Now, I want to start off by saying this video is not to bash police officers on a whole. My intent is not to be a hater like that. I wanted to be a police officer. However, it is to acknowledge the problem within the system and how people of color's lives are being disregarded and discarded as though they're trash by police officers, and the lack of responsibility that is being placed on them. When I think about Ahmaud Arbery or George Floyd, where we are today, and I think about what's going on in the U.S., because I am Canadian, I'm from Ontario, I think about how people take the lives of dogs and cats more seriously than the lives of Black people and Black men. I feel and have felt a lot of anger and pain, frustration, hate, disgust, and I'm feeling of losing hope, not just this past week, but in general, when it comes to this matter. I feel at this point, no one can question why people of color run from police officers, because a routine traffic stop to get a ticket, like Sandra Bland, can end in death. Taking your wallet out or taking out your license can end in death if you're a Black person or a person of color. So no, it is not ridiculous or makes no sense for people of color to run from police officers, because a small interaction with them can end in death. Yes, there are some good ones. I'm not saying there aren't, but I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the disproportionate number of problematic police officers that have the power and use that power and abuse that power to take the lives of innocent people because they can. When I think about the fact that not one Black man, but two Black men now that we know of have died because they couldn't breathe because police officers felt like they just needed to use brute force with them, 1-on-3 or 1-on-4, it starts to become, you start to become numb to it. And you feel like, is anything that happens subsequently after these people's deaths really matter? I'm not saying we shouldn't riot, we shouldn't be mad, and we shouldn't protest, but what's really changing? These police officers are barely being held accountable. They go on and live their lives after they've taken lives for little to nothing, often, when it comes to Black men and women. And kind of just, it becomes the headline of the week, the headline of the month if you're lucky, and then they move on to the next story, because there's almost always a next story. And since February, how many Black people have died for bullshit at the hands of either police officers or racist people? Ahmaud was killed in February, and the outrage didn't spark until about April. I would say April, for me anyway. That's when I heard about it a lot more. Honestly, I feel like police officers take oaths now to protect each other not to protect everybody, not to protect me. I certainly don't feel comfortable when they are around. I certainly feel hostile and hostility, and I feel anger and discomfort when they're around because I don't feel like I can trust them, because I don't feel like they're really here for me. They pick and choose the people they want to listen to and trust, and ma'am, please, ma'am, they don't want to hear it from everybody. So when you try to tell me that the police are here to protect all of us, no, Karen, they're not. They are not. I think it is important for people of color to have conversations with non-people of color about the situations, if they're open to the conversations, if they're open to expressing their lack of understanding or ignorance, if they're open to hearing where you're coming from and understanding your experiences and maybe saying, oh, I didn't see it that way. I feel like that's important. But at the same time, I'm also very tired of having this conversation because it's 2020. How come you can just walk around and be ignorant to this situation? How come it's so easy for you to turn a blind eye to the deaths of people every month, every week, every year, because it doesn't affect your life personally, but it's affecting not just, that particular family, but a large group of people. I am sick and tired of not really talking about this issue on my page because I have many a times allowed myself to feel uncomfortable for the comfort of white people. And I'm not going to do that anymore because I am mispublished opinion because I'm opinionated, and I'm opinionated on all topics. But I have resigned myself for a while to the fact that talking was just going to make them uncomfortable and shut down. So what was the point? No, I'm not doing that no more. I'm going to speak on my pain. I'm going to speak on the pain of my people. I'm going to speak on the frustration I and those around me feel when we have small, everyday experiences of racism simply because we are Black. And yes, though I am from Canada and I'm Canadian, I am still Black and I still experience it here. I could tell you 1 or 2 or 3 stories of me personally having that word thrown at me, that word that some people just think you should just get over it. It's just a word. No, that word has hurt because it's used for malicious intent. Going forward, I welcome all conversations about, whether you feel like you don't know how to speak on this or should you speak on this. I welcome those conversations. I can't partake in them every day because it's exhausting and it's draining because I'm also crying a lot lately. But I will be there when I can, when I can refill my cup a little bit to talk about this. But ultimately, this is a scary time we live in. In 2020, I feel like maybe not that racism is worse, but I just feel like that the racists are much more bold in their behavior. They've been emboldened by Professor Shitbag, aka Trump Dog. I feel like racists have come out and, ripped their shirt open with the big R like Superman and said, I'm here and I'm not hiding anymore. And they're everywhere. They're your postman. They're your doctor. They're the grocery clerk who's bagging your bags. They are police officers. They are teachers. They are your associates, potentially friends, maybe even family. They are everywhere. And while I have always associated myself with a mix of people, I'm paying attention to people's actions going forward. I'm paying attention to the love of our culture, but the lack of support of our struggle. I will be paying attention to that and I will be addressing it. And if I catch you making a comment around me that makes me uncomfortable, I won't call names, but there have been people around me who have used N-words in songs because they have Black friends and it's okay with them. It's not okay with me. And my feelings should be considered as well. Y'all want to group us as a collective when it's negative shit, but you don't want to, and you want to group us when it comes to what makes you feel comfortable. That's not how it works. We are a group of individuals. Our pain should be considered on an individual level. Our level of discomfort should be considered on an individual level. But collectively, we are all fighting the same thing. And so What I hope for is that George Floyd's death and the riots that are taking place will cause some uncomfortable conversations to finally be had. I need people to start to take stock in their own actions, take responsibility for their lack of care and consideration for their Black friends in the past. And maybe you don't want to apologize because you realize now that you were shitty in some of the things you said or didn't say. But I need you to going forward, not do that. Because we don't have allies and police officers like you do. We have a few select people who are willing to speak up and say, I am an ally. And while I feel like I'm rambling, but I have to talk. I have to express myself. While I feel like at one point I felt like the riots weren't doing anything, I've come to a point where I feel like no justice, no peace. I understand that now. I read it and I hear it differently because people say, well, why are they looting? Why are they breaking things? First of all, it's not only Black people who are looting. I've seen lots of Karens and Susies and Jonathans out there who are looting simply for their own personal gain because the death of someone has caused an uproar and they feel like, well, a riot means I can get myself a new TV. I can get myself some new bed sheets, a new lamp, a new computer. Some people are using this as a means of gain, but other people are using this because they are tired. They are sick and tired. They are angry. And you know, when you're so angry, you want to break something. That's how we feel right now. And so breaking and destroying stores, no, it's not going to make a difference. But I think it's going to allow people to be heard and understood on another level. Because when you're in your house and you're so angry, you break a plate, people stop. Are you okay? People are concerned about your anger at that point because it's reached a peak of wanting to break and destroy things. This is how we feel. We are tired. We are tired of feeling like our hands are tied. We are tired of feeling like we can't speak up. We are tired of feeling like nobody's listening. So yes, we are destroying things. And I say we, even though I'm not in the States, but I'm Black, so you're all going to see us as one. We are destroying things. We are breaking things because we are tired of the bullshit. Peaceful protests only get you kind of heard. People breaking shit and smashing shit is getting lots of news coverage. Has gotten the police officer, 1 out of the 3 or 4 who participated in George Floyd's death, arrested. Now, if you're telling me that looting doesn't make change, I'm starting to beg to differ on that one. I can't feel good about posting fun, cute fashion or whatever content right now. When I do post, it's about what I'm feeling right now. It's a heavy time, and my prayer is that between now and Wednesday, which would be June 3rd, 1, 2, 3, yeah. I pray that there will be further actions taken against the police officers that killed George, because I don't think people are going to stop. And I mean, racism never stops, so why should the destruction stop? Why should our voices stop? Why should our cries stop? I think it's time. And I, for one, I'm not going to be quiet anymore. Thanks for watching another episode of What We're Talking About on Wednesday. I'll see you on the other side of next week.